It's not about, is this going to help me lose weight in my neck? No, it's not about that. It's about taking a deep breath and slowing everything down. Hi, my name is Maddie, this is Fig, and today we're going to talk about yoga and eating disorder recovery. So if you're new here, hello and welcome. I have been documenting my eating disorder recovery journey by doing challenges, vlogs, sit down and talk videos, just trying to get through life and get over this stupid eating disorder and hopefully help other people too.
I will take that challenge. I like that.
As I said, today I'm going to talk about yoga, which is something that has been a blessing in my recovery. So today's video is going to be a bit more sit down talk style, not gonna do too many fun things, but I do at the very end have a sequence that I've kind of sort of made up on the spot, so we'll see how that goes. So if you just want to be here for the yoga, skip to the end and it's kind of like a short 10-minute really bad yoga sequence, so stay tuned for that or just skip ahead. So to begin, I will talk about how I got into yoga. So when I was about 13 or 14, we had this yoga teacher that would come and sometimes teach classes for our gym class, and I loved it. I got my very first mat at HMV, which was like a CD store like a while ago, and it was blue and I loved it, and I would just sit in my room and do downward dog and child's pose, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I liked it a lot and I really looked forward to these classes. It was always very calming, you turn the lights off and she'd get all the scents, and I just loved the way that I felt after I had a yoga practice. So over the years I did progress and I was doing looking at YouTube videos and doing them on my own, and I started going to Power Yoga in Canada, which is a yoga company that does a lot of hot yoga. And then eventually in 2018 I actually went to Thailand and got my personal yoga teacher training. Not personal, but I got trained as a yoga teacher, so I am a certified yoga teacher. Throughout my eating disorder when I was sick, I didn't actually do a lot of yoga because I saw it as a waste of time. Every time I went on the mat, I would just go into push-ups or I'd go into more hardcore exercises because I saw yoga as not something that was helping my body. Like, I was so sick that I didn't see the relaxation and the mindfulness part of yoga as beneficial, so I stopped all yoga when I was really sick. When I first started recovery and went to treatment, I did not do yoga. We were told that yoga was allowed, and when I was in a residential program we actually had yoga classes, but I saw yoga as such a sacred thing to me after I got my teacher training that I didn't want to ruin it for some reason. And in my recovery, the first time I hated everything. I wasn't ready to recover, so any type of help that I got, I really resisted. So to me, if I were to have engaged in yoga at that time, I didn't want to have it turn into something that I hated because I was going to associate it with recovery, which I really didn't like. Now this time in recovery, a lot of stuff happened between first and second recovery. A big relapse, a lot of stuff. But the second time, I incorporated yoga in my recovery, and it has been, other than YouTube and obviously like my team of professionals, a big part of my recovery. It's the whole concept of yoga is the connection between the mind, body, and soul. So when you're sick and you're eating disorder, your mind and your body become really disconnected and you really lose touch with your body. It's all about what your body looks like, what your body appears on the outside. But yoga, there's no judgment in yoga. It's all about mindfulness and breath and connecting with the body. So in recovery, practicing yoga is actually a really beneficial tool to use because you are slowing down, you're thinking about what your body does, you're practicing breath. It can decrease anxiety, it can decrease depression. There have been studies on it. There's actually a study called Eating Disorders Embodiment, and I'll have to look it up, I'll link it below, but it essentially looks at how eating disorders can help facilitate a shift from negative thinking that you have in eating disorders to positive thinking about the body. So long story short, there are different types of yoga. There's yin yoga, there's hatha yoga, there's vinyasa yoga, then you've got your power yoga that's very much like a workout in a hot room when you're sweating. That's not the eating disorder recovery type of yoga that I would recommend. I would recommend more the like yin yoga and the meditative side of yoga. So slowing down and controlling your breath and focusing on how your body feels, as I said. So there are a few benefits of yoga that I do want to talk about, and I've made a list here so that I don't go off track. So the first one, as I mentioned, is the connection between the mind and body. So by practicing yoga, when you have been so stuck in your own head, practicing yoga can really help strengthen that connection between your mind and body. If the beginning is really tough for you, I would just keep going, keep looking at videos. I would recommend, as I said, yin yoga, looking at yoga that's slower and more meditative as opposed to the hard, strenuous power yoga that really isn't the traditional type of yoga. Yoga was not meant for weight loss. It can be seen as, a type of exercise, but that's not the intention, and that's not what I would recommend, especially if you're someone like me who suffers with exercise addiction. Yoga can be bad if you take it the wrong way, but it can also be extremely beneficial. The second point is about self-acceptance. If you're in the yoga community or in a good yoga community, the one that I'm in, it's very much about personalities. No one gives a crap what your body looks like. No one cares how your clothes look, if you're this big, if you're this big, like no one cares. It's all about the mind, and it's a really accepting community of people who just want to have a positive experience in life that doesn't have anything to do with the way their body looks. And that can be really beneficial when you've been so stuck in a society that's like the smaller the better, which is absolute bullshit. Anyway, the third point, slowing down and focusing on the breath. As someone who suffers with anxiety, I often get so stuck in my head and overthink every single thing that I do, and one small mistake leads to a whole snowball effect of how my life is gonna turn into nothing. So yoga is about slowing down and focusing on the breath. When you're practicing yoga, you're really just on the mat, and all you have to think about is you and your breath. And when I say you, I mean what your body is currently doing in that moment, whether it's sitting and you're thinking about how your sit bones connect to the earth, or lowering your shoulders, or that feeling of the stretch in the side of your neck when you bring your left ear to your left shoulder. It's not about, is this going to help me lose weight in my neck? No, it's not about that. It's about taking a deep breath and slowing everything down. And that can also help you be more present, which can then decrease anxiety and hopefully decrease depression as well. So the fourth point is that mindful movement can help us slow down and think of buried emotions. So a lot of the time, I know for myself, I used exercise as a really strenuous way to push my emotions away. Going for a run was really adrenaline inducing, and your thoughts are just everywhere, and I would just run to try and get rid of all of those emotions. But yoga is actually about sitting down and facing those emotions, which is what I need to do more of and practice more. So for a lot of people in today's society, there's a lot of buried emotions. I'm not a professional, but I know for a fact there are a lot of buried emotions in today's society, and yoga can help with that because you have to sit and face what you're suppressing, and that can be really hard. That can be really, really hard. There are times when I would meditate when I was in my teacher training, so we'd meditate for upwards of half an hour, sometimes even more, and you'd be sitting there, and because you have to sit with your body for so long, you're obviously thinking about a lot of things, and you just start crying. I don't know, sometimes you just really get a feeling of overwhelming release, or something comes up and it's hard to deal with, but it's beneficial. It's very good for your body and soul. And the final point is really connected to eating disorders. So eating disorders, for a lot of people and for myself, I don't want to speak on behalf of everybody with an eating disorder, but for me it was all about control. Controlling what goes into my body, controlling how many calories I burn, controlling my food. Eating disorders are a very tricky disease that makes your mind so caught up on one thing, whether it's food, exercise, weight, and yoga can actually help you shift your control from going what goes into your body to having control over how your body moves. So when you're in a really slow sequence, moving through cat and cow or moving through downward dog, you are the one in control of how your body is moving. And that can help strengthen the connection, again, between your mind and body. And the final point that I want to say is yoga can be tricky because this is something I've kind of thought of my own. I don't know if this is fact-checked or based, but this is something that I've noticed. So for myself, when I practice yoga, I do it by myself, so I'm typically in a sports bra and underwear, which means that your stomach is exposed, your legs are exposed, your arms are exposed. And when you're in movements such as downward dog or forward fold, or you're sitting cross-legged, you're going to notice your body. You're going to notice how it looks. You're going to be looking, you're going to be feeling it, you're going to be just really aware of what your body looks like. And when you're in a process of weight restoration, this can be really tricky. This could be a trigger warning, but recently I'll go into downward dog and I'll notice the cellulite on my legs and I don't like it. But when you're in a movement of strength, you realize that it doesn't matter. Like, your body is not meant to be an ornament. It's not meant to look a certain way to fit this societal mold that people have placed in the world. It's meant to function, to get you through life, to have a positive experience on this planet. I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing push-ups and burpees and bicycle crunches to make my body look a certain way that's essentially putting my brain into a hole. Like, yoga is about body acceptance and self-acceptance and being aware of your breath. And if that can help someone in eating disorder recovery, then I would really recommend trying yoga. So I also have an announcement to make that I'm extremely nervous, but also very excited for. So as some of you may know, in September, I went to Costa Rica for a month. Spontaneous, very last minute trip because I needed to escape this gray city of Toronto and a lot of the people in it. For my work, I'm also a journalist. I do a lot of writing, I do content creating, I do social media posts for different people. I do like visual editing. So I've actually accepted a job in Costa Rica to do work like that, doing some photography work, doing some content writing work, blog work, as well as teaching yoga. So I'm going to be going at the end of December for at least 3 months. This is going to be a huge challenge for me for a multitude of reasons. I don't want to go on too long, but basically I'm going to be flying into San Jose, taking another little plane to this, it's a yoga retreat, and I'm going to be staying there for 3 months. So in exchange for my work, I'm getting a room and board, and I'm just going to be living on the beach, teaching yoga, doing what I love, writing, photography, hopefully in a community with a bunch of like-minded people. And I think it's going to be not only great for me, but also great for my recovery, because I'm going to look at it, my first goal to be there. The reason I'm going is to help. It's for work. Obviously, my number one priority there is going to be the work. But on the other hand, I can also use this as my recovery to help recreate a normal association with food. I'm not going to be in control of what I eat. I'm not going to be in control of when I eat. The meal times are planned, and they're actually what I should be eating. Breakfast is like an appropriate time. It's not when I'm eating breakfast now, which is way too late. My one hesitation is I do have to make sure that I'm getting enough food, but I can always just eat eat multiple extra almonds and chocolate and whatever. So I'm very nervous. I'm very excited though. Not sure what this is going to mean for YouTube, because I'm going to hopefully still do it, maybe just more sit down and talk videos. But yeah, I'm excited, and there's going to be more Costa Rica adventures, so we'll see what happens. But long story short, yoga, it's great. I would recommend. And yeah, if you like this style of video of me teaching, which you'll hopefully see or just skip through. I know it was really choppy. I use my phone to record everything still, so I'm sorry. Yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, let me know, and hope you enjoy the yoga. Bye. So hello and welcome to my very first yoga / meditation practice on YouTube. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Feeling the sit bones pressing into the mat, which is pressing into the earth. Your hands are resting gently on your knees or beside you, just wherever feels comfortable. I'm going to ask you to think of an intention. What would you like to bring to today's practice? Maybe some stillness, some self-compassion, maybe kindness towards yourself or maybe others around you. Just thinking of one thing that you'd like to keep in mind throughout the next 5 to 10 minutes. Just keeping the eyes closed, take a deep inhale in, and a slow, deep exhale. Repeating this breath, inhale in through the nostrils and exhale through the mouth. It's okay if you make noises. Continuing with this breathing, deep inhale in, deep exhale. So yoga is all about connecting the mind, the body, and the breath. There's no judgment in yoga. It's all about what the body can do for you. It doesn't matter what your body looks or how it appears on the outside. It's how the body feels inside. So keeping this in mind, how does your body feel right now? Do you need to lower your shoulders? Are you holding tension in the neck? Maybe you're straining your stomach a little bit. Can you let it go? Continue with that breathing. Now on your next inhale, reach your right arm up, and using the left hand, grab the right wrist and pull towards the left side of the room. Just a little tug here, feeling that side body stretch. Right, release back to center. Repeat on the other side. Grab the left wrist with the right arm and pull towards the right side of the room, feeling that side body stretch. And back to center. Bring the hands to heart center. Now we're going to begin by rotating the neck, right ear to right shoulder, placing the hands back down, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder. Continuing with this rotation. Now this is a very simple movement for someone who might have some neck strain. If you're at your desk all the time, change directions, or if you're typing on a computer, start by lifting and lowering your shoulders, maybe moving your shoulders in a circular movement. Other way, rotating the wrists. Just starting to add some movement to the body and the arms here. Doesn't matter how you look. Do any weird movements that you need just to feel the body a little bit here. Now take the left hand, place it on the right knee, right hand behind you, and we're going to introduce a little side twist. Taking a deep inhale as you elongate the spine, and exhale back to center. Repeat on the other side, right hand to left knee, left hand behind you, twisting up, reaching through the spine, and back to center. Great, now just adding one more kind of quick little movement here. Now when you're ready, transition into all fours. So hands and wrists are stacked directly beneath the shoulders, knees are stacked beneath the hips, and we're going to move through a few cat-cow movements. So inhale, lower the belly, dipping the spine as you inhale, reach your head to the sky, and exhale into cat, like a black Halloween cat, sucking in the tummy, crown of the head to the floor, and inhale back to cow. And with each movement, maybe bend a little bit deeper, just feeling what this is like in your body. So this yoga practice is not going to be very strenuous. It's just a little introduction, getting to know the body. Now we're going to add some more movement. So come back to center and start by pushing the head forward and then backwards as you create a line of energy through the body. Inhale and exhale, just adding a little bit more movement. I know it looks a little funny, but you can just close your eyes and just think about a line of energy that you're drawing with your body. Great, back to center, curl the toes and press the hips back up, and we're going to move into a down dog. So pressing the heels into the ground. Probably feel a little bit of strain in your calves, back of the hamstrings. Press your fingers into the ground, grip like a tiger. Your knuckles are pressing into the ground, your head between your biceps. Pedaling out the feet here. Down dog is a great stability pose. So it's kind of where you can go just to feel a bit more grounded or centered. And if this is too much for you, you can also go into child's pose. So lowering the knees down and reaching the arms forward. That's another good option, but we're going to stay in down dog for now. Now press the left heel down, kick the right foot back up into the sky, and then step it forward into a high lunge. Now we're not going to stay here for very long because this can be a relatively strenuous pose, but your front leg should be at a 90-degree angle, knee right over the ankle. Your back foot is facing forwards at this point. And we're going to shift into Warrior Two. So the back left foot is going to rotate to be parallel with the mat, reaching your hands forward. Hinge forward, bring the right hand down to the floor or on the top of the knee if this is more comfortable. And look up towards the left hand, which is at the sky. Little side stretch here, chest opening, and hands back down to the ground, framing the right foot, step the right foot back, so you're in a high plank. Now slowly lower down into what we call chaturanga, belly to the floor, flatten out the feet, push up into an up dog. Deep inhale, exhale, curl the toes, press into down dog. And repeat this on the other side now. So press the right heel down, kick the left foot back, step up into Warrior One. So your left leg is at a 90-degree angle, knee over the ankle, hands up. Twist into Warrior Two. So the back foot is going to come parallel to the back of the mat. You're looking forward over your left fingers. Hinge forward, left hand comes down to the floor or on your knee, wherever feels comfortable. This is a triangle pose. You can straighten out the left knee if this is okay for you. And look up towards the right fingertips, opening up the chest to the front of the room. And exhale back, hands down to the ground, step the left foot back. High plank, hinge forward, lower down into chaturanga. And up dog. Feeling that stretch in the spine. Look over the right shoulder. Looking over the left shoulder. Getting my directions messed up. And now instead of coming into down dog, we're going to move back into all fours again. Now open the knees so that your toes are touching and your knees are going to be almost as wide as the mat as you sit back down onto your feet, stretching the hands forward into a child's pose, forehead to the mat. Now take a few deep breaths here, feeling that stretch in the spine. Fingers reaching towards the front of the room as you press your knuckles into the ground. Continue with that breathing. And when your next inhale, come back up into all fours and make your way back into a seated position. Cross your legs here. Sitting upright. Continue with that deep breathing. Feel free to close your eyes if you're okay with that. Now that was a very, very short little yoga practice, but if you're new to yoga, just notice how your body feels. That's what it's all about. How do you feel in your body? Continue with that deep breathing. So if you enjoyed that little practice, please let me know. I personally enjoy yoga, as I've been saying. So if you are interested in having me maybe teach some longer classes or some meditations, let me know in the comments below. And I want to thank you for joining with me today in this little practice. And I wish you the best. Have a great week. Have a great day. Namaste.